Welcome to Collecting Chaos. My name is James, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different. You see, I was looking around for things to list on eBay, and I found this. And I thought, well, hey, that's a perfect thing to list. Yeah, okay, it's only $5 to $10, but it'd still be good. And then I discovered a little problem. You see, the glue let go. Okay, that's not a big deal. That's easy to put back together, except for the fact that the glue let go on all the pages as well. So I'm going to fix that, and I'm going to show you how. I'm going to do that right now. So the first thing I need to do is remove this old crusty paste that's on here, and I should be able to do that with water, of which I don't have anything in here, or do I? That one's ammonia. That would probably work, but that's not what I want to use. Let me go get my water. Alright, I've got my little bottle of water here. We're just going to open it up. This is distilled water, and I'm going to use some cotton buds here. And we're going to see if we can't start removing some of that. Just get it damp. Very gently put it on there. And hopefully that will take care of it. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Ooh, there we go. And all I'm trying to do is get it damp enough so that that'll come off. Use one of my I think that's going to work. It's going to take some time, though. It's not something you want to do very fast. Anytime you're doing something like this, you want to go slow, a little bit at a time. The idea being that you don't want to ruin the book by getting it too wet. And these cotton swabs I'm using, it's a medical grade cotton swab actually. It allows me to put the water exactly where I want it. Once I get it damp, I should be able to start removing it if I can find my other tools. My desk is a bit of a mess. I was working on something else. Will I make a video of what I was working on? I don't know. I might. I'm considering it. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Yeah, you see I'm able to lift that old paste right off of there now. Not, like I said, it's not something I'm going to try to do too fast. I would rather take my time and get it done right. And you can do this with comic books too. Although you might not want to use the paste that I'm going to use on this. I'm going to use one that's I was recommended to me by a bookbinder, and it's not something that it's not going to be a temporary repair. It will be permanent. But if you're going to do this with a comic, you want to use something like methyl cellulose paste, wheat paste, or even rice paste. Methyl cellulose paste is probably the better choice of the three, as it's easily undone. Whereas the rice paste and the wheat paste, they'll come off with water, but it's not easy. You pretty much have to do what I'm doing right now to get them to come off with water. Whereas the methyl cellulose, you get it damp and it comes right up off. Which is why most people that do restoration or conservation on comics prefer using methyl cellulose. And I will. I mean, I'll use that too. It depends on what I'm doing and the value of the book. If it's a book that's not worth much, it's never going to be worth much, I'll probably just go ahead and use the rice paste like you've seen me do in the past. But if it's one that's actually worth a good chunk of money, I'm going to use methyl cellulose. I want to make sure it can be undone. And like I said, the rice paste and wheat paste, it can be undone, or even oat paste. And the way you make oat paste, make some oatmeal, make it real soggy. There you go. You got oat paste. Oh, that was a nice piece that came off. And all I'm really doing is loosening the bind from the paper onto this paste that's on there. It's still as you can see, it's still in a kind of a plastic state. It hasn't melted. It's just the paper is, I'm getting the paper damp enough to let it go. I actually do have a couple of comic books that I've done this with. I have one 80-page giant. Matter of fact, I should be showing that in a short video within the next day or so. That I made a new cover for because it was missing the front and back cover, and I didn't feel like looking for one. So I made one and pasted it together and then permanently attached it. That it is a restored book. There's no question about it. I'll take the hit on that, but then it's for my own collection, so I don't care. All right, I'm going to do the rest of. I'm going to finish removing this off camera, and I'll come back when I'm ready to put the whole thing back together. All right, while I'm waiting for that to dry completely, I do have the rest of the paste off of it. I need to do some work with this. What first thing I want to do is I want to make sure this edge is flat and even, and it appears to be, so I'm going to set it down here. This is a pressing board that I got from Immaculate Comics. He has offered to give me stuff several times. I have never taken it. I've always paid for anything I got from him. I will continue to do so in the future. Just because that's the way I am. I really like these pressing boards though. Put some alligator clips on there, or binding clips. You couldn't see that part was off camera, but you'll be able to see the next ones I put on. Because I'm going to put one on this end, and one on this end, because I want it to hold tight. And now I'm going to confuse you people. I'm going to hold it like this. Let me zoom out just a little bit. And I'm going to take my X-Acto and I'm just going to make sure I've got all of the glue off the edge here. And I'm not that worried about it. That's actually not exactly perfect, but it's good enough. Like I said, I just want to take the glue off. There's a faster way to do this than my X-Acto. All I got to do is take a piece of sandpaper and go like this. Now I know people are panicking because I've lost my mind. I'm sanding a book. Well, the book is made of paper. What's paper made out of? Wood. More often than not. Oh, that's nice and smooth. That's gonna hold really nicely. We just have to wait for the spine on the cover to dry, and then I can put it all together. Okay, let's prep this. What I'm going to use to put this together is a little bit of tacky glue. This was recommended to me for paperback books by a bookbinder, so I have no problem with using it. I'm going to put a little bit in this little dish here, and we're going to add a little water to it. This is a PVA glue, by the way. You could use Elmer's or pretty much any other type of PVA glue. I probably added way too much water, but that's okay. And the reason I added water into it was so that it will spread better, spread more easily. And I want it to actually want it to hold the pages together. I'll put a little bit on here. Oops, you can't see what I'm doing. Bad cameraman. I don't want it real thick. If I wanted it real thick, then I would go ahead and I wouldn't have thinned it out at all. I could actually go ahead and put the cover on now. But I think instead I'm going to let this dry first. This piece doesn't want to stick, but once the cover's on there, it will. It'll be fine once the cover's on there. Alright, I mixed up a little more glue, and now we're going to paint it on here. Probably should use a thinner brush. That's okay. It's not going to make that much difference. Now set that off to the side, bring this back over, and we're going to paint it one more time. It's not completely dry yet. Now the reason I wasn't worried too much about over painting this was because the way I'm going to set it on there. I'm going to set it on just like that. And down. Now even though I have a little more glue on the cover than what's needed, and I know it went over where the spine's going to be, that's okay, because when it dries, because it's tinted. And what I mean by that is, let's zoom out a little more. You see how this cover goes off this way, this cover goes off this way. So when that glue dries, it's not going to stick to that first page because it's not touching the first page. It is, but it isn't. It's not compressing against it. So the little bit of glue that went on either side of the cover, either side of the spine, is not going to slap up against that page and stick to that page so that it'll pull it apart. So now all I have to do is let it dry. So I'm going to leave it just like that to dry, and we'll be back when it's dry. Probably 2 or 3 hours. Let's take a look at this. It's been a few hours later. Got a nice little rainstorm, so if you hear pitter-patter in the background, that's what it is. See how it seems to be good. Let's go ahead and take this off. Now remember, it's still clipped inside of these pressing boards, so. There you go. And it's seated really well. All the pages are in there nice and firm. It turned out really well. There is one last thing I need to do, and that's I'll be putting it in my cold press. I have some things stacked on top of my cold press right now, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in my cold press. Or actually, I could just put it in here. And that would be just as good, because I want it to flatten out slightly. So just stick these back on it like this. And I'll leave it in there for a couple of days, and by that time it should be fine. So yeah, that's let's go back over to me so we can close this out. Well, there you have it. In a couple of days this will all be ready to go, and I'll take it out of this, maybe clean the cover up a little bit, take some pictures of it, put it up on eBay. Maybe it'll sell. Maybe it'll sit there for a year. Who knows? We'll find out. We'll find out sometime in the future. Yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I taught you something you didn't already know. And don't use tacky glue for your comic books. Use methyl cellulose mixed with a little bit of water. It'll come off a whole lot easier. The tacky glue I used was because I wanted it to be a permanent repair, not a temporary one, or not one that can be undone. That was an actual restoration of the cover onto the book. It was not a conservation of the book. Well, it is. It was a conservation of the book, but it's one that can't be undone. Well, not easily anyway. Maybe in 50 years, another 50 years, somebody will have to do it again. That book, by the way, is from 1962. So, yeah, it's 54 years old. 54? 64 years old. Yeah, 62 years old. Yeah. Pretty old book. See you next time. Have yourself a great week. I'll see you on Wednesday. I've got another idea for a video for that one. It's going to be different. And of course, I do release a short video every single day. And you might want to catch those. And if you feel like doing me a favor, go to video you haven't seen yet just before you go to bed. Hit that play button. Go to sleep. Just let it run. I can use the watch hours. And it won't hurt you. Do that with anybody that you're trying to help with the watch hours. It helps them out a lot. And yeah, we'll see you next video. If you're not subscribed, please do so. If you know somebody that might enjoy some of the content I make, by all means, send them my way. And like I said, we'll see you next time. Bye.